If I told you I had a software solution that would make it easier to persuade your audience, keep them engaged, and maybe even make them hand over more money, would you be interested? Well, actually, I don't have a software that does that, but I know something that can. And what's intriguing is that through advances in neuroscience and other research, we understand it in a way that we couldn't ever before. I'm talking about storytelling. Now, but before you say, I've heard all this before, there's something you might be missing. Dr. Paul Zak is the author of the book Immersion, the Science of the Extraordinary and Source of Happiness. He's done lots of research on storytelling, and some of the findings are literally mind-blowing. In one study, people were told the story of a father playing with his young son called Ben in a playground. He's trying to enjoy the moment because Ben has just finished a round of chemotherapy. But he knows something that Ben doesn't. The boy is terminally ill. There's nothing more that can be done. Despite that, his father battles to find joy in this incredibly sad moment. Now, this is obviously a heartbreaking story, but what happens next is why you need to care about storytelling. They ran tests in the lab to test the physiological response in the audience. They found a sharp rise in levels of oxytocin. That's the chemical that increases feelings of empathy and love. There was also a rise in the neurotransmitter dopamine, which is actually associated with pleasure and reward, and that's because the story sparked feelings of intrigue and tension. There was also a rise in cortisol, which usually means feelings of stress, but also means you're paying attention. Just stop for a second and take in what this actually means. If you tell someone a story, you can literally change their physiology. You can change their mood, their brain chemicals, their focus, their emotions. The study even found that people who had heightened feelings of empathy were more likely to donate money to a charity related to the story. Now, when I work with executives or experts on their presentations or even social media teams, they sometimes say, look, we don't have time to include a story. Well, our brains are wired for stories. We passed down wisdom around the campfire for thousands of years. We now know they can change people's physiology. If storytelling was a software solution, everyone would want it. But for some reason, many people don't invest in learning how storytelling works, which types of stories work in specific situations, and how to tell stories in different formats. So whether it's a presentation, a social media video, or a blog article, don't forget to include stories. They're more powerful than you might think.